Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
Back again with the
No, go ahead, go ahead.
yo, bro. Go for it, son.
We back again. We back again, man. Peach tripping. But before we jump in, as always, make sure y'all like, share, comment. All comments are always welcome. Good, bad, ugly. And then after you comment, ring that bell and subscribe so you can stay locked in and in tune with all this heat that me and Peach gonna continue to drop for y'all. So we ask y'all to do y'all thing. And Peach, what we gonna do?
Well, we're gonna do ours, man. Tell a friend to tell
Yes,
a friend
sir.
to tell a friend to tell a friend. Whew. It's a lot of friends.
Just reached our 100 subscribers. We want to thank everybody that subscribed, everybody that's watching. Much appreciated. Like we always say, y'all do your job and we're going to do ours. So we've been trying to flood y'all with content. We appreciate the love. As Peach say, love is love.
Love is love, baby.
So we're going to do something a little special, before we jump into this NFL season preview. We want y'all to comment on any video topic y'all want to hear me and Peach talk about. Comment on this video. Honestly, y'all can comment on any video. We're going to make sure that we see it. And we're going to pick three sports topics that we like the best. And we're going to make, 3 videos out of those topics. Showing some love back to the subscribers, to the viewers. So hit the comment section up. Any video, like I said, let us know what y'all want to hear me and Peach talk about. I don't care if it's baseball. We're going to do our homework. We're going to cover everything. NBA, NFL, boxing, UFC, no matter what it is. And me and Peach going to make sure we deliver that content to y'all because y'all been showing us love.
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, you said it exact. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Where we
All
at
right,
today,
bro.
brother?
Staying in the AFC East, went through the Jets, went through the Patriots. If y'all ain't check out those 2 videos yet, go check them out. See our record predictions, how we think those teams going to go do this year. But now we into Miami. We go to Miami, bro. This is a team that has a lot of interesting storylines, a lot of talent, an interesting coach. So I think a lot of fans are interested to see how this team is going to do. Right? Last year, when Tua was healthy, I think they were 8-0 at a point, or 7-1. I mean, they were playing really good football with Tua healthy. You got those 2 dynamic receivers, and Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle, that you get the ball in space and you just let them work. And that's how Tua had a lot of those gaudy numbers. Tyreek Hill was on pace, I think, for 2,000 receiving yards, which is ridiculous. Hasn't been done. And I like Mike McDaniel, the coach. He's a guy that he's quirky, right, and he's unique in his own right. But I like what he puts out on the football field, as far as his scheme, his schematic, and it seems like the players buy in to what he's selling, especially offensively. On the defensive end, they had to get better, and they knew that, and they went out and got Bradley Chubb from Denver last year. They have Xavier Howard. We'll get into some of the additions this year, but they tried to make that defense work last year, and I think for the most part, it did what it was supposed to do. They beat Buffalo that one game in Miami, and they almost could beat them in Buffalo.
I think they played Buffalo real well last year.
They do.
I
They
think it was a
did.
team
They
that
did.
Buffalo didn't want to see if the Dolphins was ever to stay healthy.
True. No, agreed, bro. And then the last piece component is the offensive line. It's big because, we know what Tua's history is. Everybody's seen that grueling and back-to-back weeks. He hit his head, got up and fell again. And then the next week, he gets hit and, looks like he's, I don't even know. It was just a scene that nobody wanted to see to make sure he got carried off the field. It was a lot. But let's jump into this preview.
Also think too, to piggyback off the expectations in last season. If you look at this ball club, they had a 3-game win, then they followed that up with a 3-game losing streak. Then they had a 5-game winning streak. then followed that up with a 5-game losing streak, and then finished with a win in Week 18. So this ball club was kind of like this, and obviously it was because
Inconsistent.
of the injuries and stuff. But I
Yep.
think
Yep.
this season with the additions and with a healthy tour, I think they could finally get that consistent motion going to get this ball club to the next level.
Agreed. Agreed, bro. Um, excuse me. Jumping in, like I said, they missed the playoffs last year. It's a team that a lot of people thought they would make the playoffs, and it seemed like you said they was on that trajectory to do so, but had some injury problems. No, I'm lying. They didn't miss the playoffs. Apologies. They made the playoffs. Skylar Thompson had to go in and play that game. So this is. Let me change that. Let me change
It's a
that real
typo
fast.
on those stats parts. We definitely apologize for that.
Yeah, we
Dolphin fans,
fired the.
don't get us just yet because we didn't get to the schedule. So don't get us just yet.
I'm just gonna put made playoffs. I'm gonna do it like that. We fired the person that made this anyway, so we won't have this happen again. Made the playoffs last year. Yeah, they had the injuries. Skylar Thompson had to come in and play against Buffalo, I believe, and played okay. But you're not gonna win games with your third string quarterback. That doesn't happen. But looking at the losses, the losses on the key losses side, they lose Byron Jones, they lose Mike Gesicki. We just got finished talking about him going to New England. They lose Teddy Bridgewater, Eric Rowe, Melvin Ingram, Trent Sherfield, Brandon Shell, just to name a few. So some big pieces in there, right? Eric Rowe, you lose some veteran leadership. You lose Mike Gesicki at tight end. You lose Teddy Bridgewater, who was kind of a backup policy to Tua's health, but they do add in Mike White over on the addition side, who played well with the Jets. They also add Jalen Ramsey, who unfortunately got hurt in training camp, got tangled up with Tyreek Hill running a route, and is out for, I believe they said, the first 5 weeks. So we won't see him until about week 6. I think they'll be able to stay afloat. We'll talk about that when we get to the schedule. They get Robbie, a.k.a. Chosen Anderson, who's another fast receiver who's going to add
He was
to
from
that bunch.
Carolina, right?
He was
Where'd
in
he go?
Carolina. He started off in Carolina, but he was in Arizona, I believe, last year.
Okay.
Yeah. He actually went to Temple with Jonesy. Played football. Yeah, he was a beast at Temple. Braxton Berrios, they get him. They get Isaiah Wynn from New England to come help them out on that offensive line. Mike White, as I mentioned. Tyler Croft. They add David Long Jr. to that defense. Deshaun Elliott. Cam Smith, they drafted out of South Carolina. Supposed to bring some depth to that cornerback room as well. And then Devin Achaney, if I'm saying that right. I know he ran like a 4.29 or something like that. So just more speed to that offense. But I think the big additions, right, outside of Jalen Ramsey, is David Long Jr. They bring in some depth to that linebacker spot, right? I'm interested to see how Tyler Croft does, that tight end, because Mike Gesicki had some big plays last year. And then I also, they brought in Isaiah Wynn I thought they brought in another offensive lineman, but maybe I'm wrong. To try to beef up that offensive line and add some depth to that unit as well. So
Need that, man. I also like I think with them having Raheem Mostert, you still got Jeff Wilson Jr. back there. I think this ball club could be real dynamic as far as like, are we gonna go over the top? Are we hitting post routes? Are we going to the check down? Are we just gonna run it down your throat with both our running backs?
that's what I think they need to do. Not to cut you off,
Run
but
the
really
ball
fast.
more?
I think they need to be more balanced, bro. I think they need to hand the ball. I know, I get it. Like you have Tyreek Hill and Jaylen Waddle and Chosen Anderson. You got some guys out there that you can make, let them make some plays and get big chunks. But I think they need to rely on running the ball a little more in order to take that next jump. But go ahead, bro. I didn't mean to cut you off.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say, bro. I mean, when you got and you see it, this is becoming a little bit more popular in the league now, with having two guys in the backfield that can carry a lot of the workload, and you seen that kind of before Zeke trailed off, but you seen that in Dallas with Zeke and Tony Pollard. You seen it in Cleveland
Right.
with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. So I think this is something that the Dolphins could utilize this season. So you're not really trying to be that all air it out team now. You can
Right.
keep defensive guessing, and I think it's all about balance for this ball club. If they can balance shit out, throw when they need to throw, run when they need to run. I mean, I got high expectations for this Miami Dolphins ball club.
No, same, bro. I mean, balance and health, right? Like the biggest question mark, and I have a lot of expectations and high hopes for this team as well, because I think they are talented everywhere, and I think after seeing what they did last year when Tua was healthy on the field, and I think they got better. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to help out. Jalen Ramsey and Xavier Howard's a dynamic duo at cornerback. They add to the wide receiver room, and like I said, they added some pieces at some other places. So I think this team should get better. Another year under the system as well. But Tua's health, bro. I mean, it's like the biggest thing. And he put on some weight, right? He put on some weight, but weight doesn't help concussions. Like it's not like he's getting broken up out there from big hits and it's taking a toll on his body. You can't build muscle around your head. You just, it's one of those weird situations where that's why I said the offensive line has a huge job, right? I mean, every offensive lineman has to protect their quarterback, right? But when you know your quarterback then had concussions and when people on the field and didn't know what was going on and had people holding their breaths, you think about that a little bit in your head. So the offensive line had to play well. And if Tua can get out of his head, because maybe you never know. I mean, after a certain amount of concussions, that could be in the back of your head. Like, I don't want to get hit again. So that's a big thing.
Now you're
but
playing insecure, man, and they can't
Exactly.
afford that because I think now, I think this ball club has to think about, if they don't live up to expectation this season, that'll be 2 seasons with Tyreek Hill. You start questioning yourself like, is Tua our guy?
Right.
And I think that's a path they would have to, not necessarily go down, but maybe look down and explore their options, because they have a great roster right now, and we talk about this all across sports about that window, bro. You have to capitalize within that window, because then you get things like age and injuries, and the league gets better.
And having to pay people
Yeah,
salary
come on,
cap. Yeah,
Come on,
bro.
bro.
I agree. I agree, bro. It'd be
Team gotta
interesting, man.
capitalize.
What makes it tough is they're in the AFC. And then also what makes it tough is a lot of these teams in the AFC, when it comes playoff time, if you don't get that 1 seed or at least a 2 seed or something like that, you're going to have to travel to these cold places. You used to playing in the heat. You living in the heat. It's comfortable. But you might have to go to cold Buffalo. You might have to go to cold Cincinnati in January. You might have to go to cold Kansas City in January. I mean, those are 3 top dogs, right, in the AFC. You're going to have to go there. Go ahead, bro.
I want to ask you something about that, bro.
Yeah.
So does this put an advantage on the teams that play in colder climates? So, like you said, Cincy and Buffalo, these guys are used to playing in the cold. But if we go play in the warm, is that a plus? You know what I'm saying? That's arguably a plus, though, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a plus. I mean, playing in so it depends, right? Warm meaning 75, 80 degrees, yes. But if you got to go play in Miami heat in August, that's an advantage to Miami, and that could be a disadvantage to you. But the thing about playoff football is, if I had to go play in Miami in January, it's not going to be grueling hot.
Grueling hot, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going to be reasonable. But when Miami beat Buffalo early in the year last year, remember the Buffalo players are cramping up because of all of that heat, and Miami was used to it. So Miami has an advantage, but it expires once the weather starts breaking. So
Makes sense.
yeah, bro. But let's jump into the schedule, man, because this is a squad that
Let's see what we got here.
I think can make a playoff run. Jumping too far
See what we
ahead.
can. The Patriots fans is already outside Wrong one, brother. Oh, there we go.
No, that
Patriots
one back.
fans is
Yeah.
already outside Seth's crib for the schedule that we dropped. So
Yeah. But this one will be better, right? This one will be better. Like I said, bro, Miami. I think they can make a deep playoff run. I think they can. I think that's their ceiling. Maybe not Super Bowl, but I think they can go deep, as deep as AFC Championship game. But let's jump in. Week 1, they're on the road at the Chargers. I think this is going to be a great game. High flying, high scoring game. Bet the over. But I think the Dolphins will pull this one out. I think coaching will have a big thing to do with this. And I think Tyreek Hill or Jaylen Waddle will have a monster game. Week 1 out the gate. Week 2 they go to New England. Like I said, if you haven't checked that New England video out, check that out. I have New England coming off a win. I won't tell you who week 1 if you don't know. But week 2, I think they'll come back down to reality, and the Dolphins will beat them there. Then Dolphins are home against Denver. I think Denver will be better this year. Don't know how much. Miami's a better ball club. They get the W. Week 4, they go into Buffalo. Buffalo knows that Miami's coming. Buffalo will be ready for that game. It's going to be home. And I think Buffalo will pull that one out in a tight one, like the games have been these last couple meetings between these teams. Then they get two kind of teams I think they're better than. I mean, the Giants are a playoff team last year, but I expect the Giants to take a step back this year. And then the Panthers are a team trying to rebuild and turn into the right direction. So 2 W's in there in week 5 and 6. Week 7, they have to go to Philly. I think Jalen Hurts will want this game really bad. For those that don't remember or don't know, at Alabama, Jalen Hurts was the quarterback. Wasn't playing too well in the national championship game and got benched. And Tua came in and won the national championship for Alabama. The following year, Jalen Hurts decided to transfer and go to Oklahoma. So some history there. Tua came in and took Jalen Hurts' spot.
Fingers crossed that the Eagles is plus money going into this game, because I'm hearing that shit. Bro dropped the gem. Like, all right, yeah. Jalen going in there going for blood, man.
Absolutely. So I think the Eagles will win that game, bro. And the Dolphins will lose. And then week 8, they win against the Patriots at home. I think they'll beat them. Like I said, too much offensive power. And then week 9. It says at Chiefs, but that's an international game. I believe it's in Germany. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dolphins fans. But Tyreek Hill is going to be looking forward to this. Like I said, neutral setting. This will be a fun one. This will be a high scoring game, and this will be fun. And I got the Dolphins getting the win here. With Tyreek Hill getting a little bit of bragging rights. I mean, they won the Super Bowl without you, but this one will feel a little good. And going into the bye week, the Dolphins are looking really strong. What's that, bro? 7-2.
7-2.
7-2 going into the bye week. How you like that?
I like it, bro. I think you hit a lot of great points as far as like with the wins and losses. All their wins here, I think, is very winnable games. And the losses is the losses that I expect. I think those are 2 tough ass games versus the Bills and versus the Eagles.
And it's on the road.
On the road too, but on the bright side, I think this gives this Miami team kind of like a measurement of where they're at this point in that season. I mean, you think about it, they're going to play 2 games between those 2 losses. So they're able to figure out where they at. You go into the bye week on a 2-game win streak, and you could kind of see like, all right, what can we do better? What can we add here? How can we get better to be able to compete against that top half of the AFC? To whereas I'm like, they already got the other parts. I like the Dolphins against the Chargers, against teams like the Broncos, Patriots. But when you get to like the Chiefs, the Bills, the Eagles, like, can they beat these teams? Especially when playoff time comes. So
I agree, and especially
first 9 weeks went.
Well said, bro. And especially when the weather get cold, because now we're getting into October, November, December. Some things change. But they come off the bye week 11. They're home against the Raiders. I think they'll smack the Raiders. Then they go to New York. week 15 they play the Jets too, and I think these could be switched. I think maybe they could win in New York and lose at home, but I think they split with the Jets. So I got them losing in week 12. Then they go to the Commanders. I think they'll win that game. Home against the Titans, a W. As I mentioned, the Jets game, they'll split one of those. So however you want to slice it, I got them winning at home. But they have 3 home games there. And I think at the tail end of that, I think that Jets game will be big for them. And I think the Cowboys have come in, and the Cowboys have beat them. Cowboys they haven't been getting to an NFC Championship game, but they've been winning, right? They've been getting double-digit win seasons. I think they go into Miami, and they can get that W. Then they go to Baltimore, a team that I think has a lot of hype around them. I'm not a big fan of it, but I think this is a game that Baltimore can win. When they played Baltimore last year, Baltimore was up big, and Miami came back and won that game. Even Lamar was playing in that, but I think the Ravens will get this one at home. And then that last game, week 18, I think a little sneak peek into the Bills preview, which will be the next video. I think this is going to be for the division. I think this is for the division, bro. I think Bills Dolphins week 18, winner of this gets the division and gets the home game in the first round of the playoffs. And as you can see here, I got the Dolphins winning it at home and getting their first division title since God knows how long. So 12-5 for your Miami Dolphins, man.
Bro, I love the storybook ending to this, man.
Yeah.
What a better way than to beat the Bills on your home field to win your first division, and like you said, God knows how long, and to carry that type of momentum into the playoffs. I think this is a phenomenal schedule. I think it's a blend of not too many below average teams. It's a lot of teams on this schedule that's going to keep the Dolphins competitive and keep them locked in throughout the season and stuff. So I like it, bro. I like it. Shout out to Miami, man.
Absolutely. All right, bro. You know what we got to do. Let me know which one of these W's that can be an L and which one of these L's that can be a W.
I was looking. I don't know why I'm looking at this, but man, I got to go week 14 versus the Titans. I think Derrick Henry going to have, Derrick Henry is always good for one of them games. You look up, he got 3 touchdowns and fucking 262 yards. But I think week 14, I think the Titans could maybe surprise us a little bit. I'm going to have the Dolphins drop in that game there and get a win to the Titans. But we'll see where them teams is at respectfully during that time. And one loss I would change to a win. I'm gonna have to go with the Jets.
It's not a lot to pick from.
12.
Okay.
It's not a lot to pick from, man.
So you think they can sweep?
I think they can sweep the Jets. You know how big I've been on the Jets this whole offseason.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they're still kind of like a fairly new ball club with a new quarterback. So, by then, hopefully, they'll have things together and stuff like that. But if this Miami Dolphins team is rolling, I could see them getting right, man. And I wonder, out of Tyreek and Jaylen Waddle, who the hell is Sauce Gardner gonna guard? So, that's real interesting. Who would you, as a coach, who would you put him on?
I'll put him on Tyreek.
You gonna put him on Tyreek?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because I think if Jaylen Waddle wants to, not saying if, I forget who's the other corner across from Sauce. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but he DJ Reed. I forget.
He is pretty alright, right?
But he's a beast in his own right. It's just his light gets a little dim because Sauce is on the other side, and Sauce is such a great cornerback at a young age. But they have a nice set of corners. And then you have some safety help. So, but I'm putting Sauce on Tyreek because Tyreek is definitely top 10 in some people's top 5 best receivers in the league, and Jaylen Waddle is top 20, but not he's not as dynamic as Tyreek Hill. Like I said, Tyreek Hill is on the pace to have 2,000 receiving yards. So I just want my best on your best. That's all.
Absolutely.
When they come down to that. But
what you moving around, man?
I'm switching week 8. that W to a loss. I think it's hard
Mm.
for me to say Bill gets swept, and I can see them losing to the Eagles, going into that Patriots game, knowing that the Chiefs are the next week, having to go fly across country, and losing that game to the Patriots. Just and getting that win to the Chiefs that following week. So I think they'll be looking forward to that. Coming off that Eagles game, big emotional game, playing the Patriots, kind of reserving some of that energy, knowing what's coming up, and that's just a bad. You smack in between both Super Bowl participants, like. So I can think that one could be an L, and then a L I would turn to a W.
Like that.
Probably the Ravens.
I was about
Week
to say you
17.
gonna go Ravens week 17.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Ravens week 17, but I think Miami could beat this Ravens ball club. They got a new offensive coordinator who's changing up the scheme. We're not gonna see that run heavy, two tight end set from the Ravens that we've seen in these past, since Lamar's been there. And who knows if that's gonna work, right? I mean, you're taking away Lamar's best asset. Not that he can't throw the ball, but Lamar's a runner. That's what we know Lamar for. So now you're gonna make him throw more. How's that gonna work? But we'll talk about that when we talk about Baltimore.
Ravens,
But Dolphins fans, yeah, Dolphins fans, let us know how y'all feel. 12-5, we got high hopes for y'all. We'll let y'all know where we got y'all going in the playoffs when we do our, playoff predictions and Super Bowl predictions. But we like this squad, so let us know how y'all feel too.
I ain't even gonna say it.